Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Watching the Boxes. I am your host, Mike Catron, and we are joined once again by my co-host, Tyler Watts. Tyler, what's up, man?
Not much, Mike. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing not too bad. I'm talking myself off the Bulls cliff lately. I'm not going to complain about them very much in this episode, or at least way less than I have been in the last episode.
I think you're going to complain about them a fair amount, but that's all right. The listeners want to hear it, so it's all good.
There's a decent chance, especially after that nonsense with Harden, and then the Rockets fans' reaction to that. They go, Rockets fans, you're classless. I'm already coming at you. You're classless, Rockets fans.
Poor Rockets fans. I don't even know what to say. I
mean, you saw what happened, right?
I did not see what happened. I don't think. Although when you say it, I probably will know.
So I just started out the show saying I wasn't going to complain about the Bulls. Here's like another 10-minute tirade about the Bulls. All that happened was, I'm not going to get into it, but all that happened was Harden is playing defense on Michael Carter-Williams. Michael Carter-Williams is kind of boxing him out. Harden literally jumped onto the top of his back, throwing them both to the ground. They called the foul on Michael Carter-Williams at a critical point in the game, and it was a turnover, and it was a horrible call. It was a Kings-Lakers embarrassing level call.
I love that description. Yeah, it's James Harden, so. I mean, are you surprised?
No, I don't care. It wasn't like he was going to the rim and got another nonsense call like he does every single game. This was an offensive foul called on a guy who got jumped on the back of. That's like in soccer, a guy coming in and undercutting a dude going up for a header, and they call the foul on the guy who's laying on the ground with his neck broke. Like, it's horrible, terrible call. I don't think the NBA even came out and said that it was a wrong call. I think they completely ignored it. I didn't see the after report anywhere. So, and then Rockets fans are like gloating about it and then like talking trash. There was a little rift, I think, on Reddit where Rockets fans were talking trash about Nene, like beasting up Joakim Noah in like a playoff 2 years ago or whatever. Like, first off, Joakim Noah is not on the team anymore. Nene is not on the Wizards anymore.
So I don't still play.
I mean, like, Rockets? Is that why they're excited? I think he's on the Rockets, right?
But he's got to be like 46 years old, right?
Like, I don't think he plays for the Rockets, but he's on the Rockets.
He actually does play a little bit. I said that in jest, but he is like old and should not.
Yeah, like I didn't even notice he was on the Rockets, and I watched the game, and so they're talking trash about this. The hilarious thing is the next game, in the playoffs, the next game. Joakim Noah dominates Nene so bad he had 0 points and fouled out. So I don't know what they're getting at. Come at me, Rockets fans. You're classless.
Poor Mike. Your Bulls just are sad. They got a shot to whoop the Kings tonight, though. So I mean,
see, there's another
day in basketball.
It's a predicament. We need their first round pick, so we should probably just lose to them.
Just tank it to him.
Yeah, why not? Jimmy's not playing. I think Jimmy could have came back tonight. He didn't come back tonight. Little suspicious. I think that's actually a good tank move.
No way. Dwayne Wade's dropping 40 and they're beating the Kings.
Oh my God, probably. Can't win anything. Let's get away from the Bulls as quickly as possible before I become severely depressed. And let's get into a lot of things happening in the league. It's kind of a weird time of year. Trade rumors are starting to ramp up. It's almost the All-Star break. And so that's when actions really usually starts happening when it comes to trades. And it's a good time to look at the second half of the season. A little weird because it's already past halfway through the season. But the All-Star break always feels like the halfway point of the season. And a lot of things change in the back half of the season with teams starting to play their young players, starting to rest their old players. You got tanking teams who don't care at all. You got these weird middle teams trying to get that 8th seed in the playoffs. And then you have, your contenders who end up start the last 10 games of the season don't even play any other players. So it gets weird in the last half of the season. And I think we're gonna try to focus on kind of a little second half of the season preview, maybe see some players that might be of your interest. But let's get into the news first. What do we got coming across the wire today, Tyler?
Well, the first thing we should probably talk about is Zach LaVine being diagnosed with torn left ACL, and obviously he's going to miss the rest of their regular season. Now, the first thing I want to say is, did you see this play?
I did not see what happened. Was it really bad?
Well, no, he was down and they made it seem like he was going to be fine. And even they were like, oh, he's going to go for an MRI as a precaution. And then boom, torn ACL, gone, done for season.
Did he walk off the court?
I think he did. It just
that's weird.
He was laying on the ground for a minute and he just looked like it hurt. And then he was just it looked like it was going to be cool. And then it just wasn't. So
that might be a good sign that isn't a very serious tear, but it's a serious enough tear to put him out for the rest of the season.
So, second question I want to ask you. If you're the Minnesota Timberwolves and you don't have Zach LaVine, who are you playing as your guard next to Ricky Rubio?
Well, I mean, I like the fact if I'm a Ricky Rubio owner that Zach LaVine's not in the game anymore, because I think those two guys don't really play that well with each other. I know off and on this season they have, but ideally you would kind of want to see them separate. Though Ricky Rubio's been kind of on a roll lately, which is nice to see. But who would I put in to start? So Dunn's still out, right?
Dunn was active and available to play tonight, but I don't believe he made it in the game.
That is rough. That is a rough sign for Chris Dunn. Thank God the Bulls did not trade Jimmy Butler for Chris Dunn. I would probably want to see a little bit more guard-wise. I guess I would want to see some more Tyus Jones.
And this is the move, right? I mean, when Dunn's healthy, if he's healthy now, I don't know, maybe he's still hurt a little bit, and they made him active, just, I don't know, ploy to mess with the other team, how Tom Thibodeau can be.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's not ignore the fact that I'm fairly sure Zach LaVine has been playing record minutes for his career right now.
Oh,
let's not ignore that he's averaging 37 minutes a game this season. Let's just not ignore that.
Well, that's a Tibbs move, right? I mean, that Tibbs does what Tibbs does.
Where's the Thibodeau?
But the play is obviously not to play Brandon Rush, the man he's been playing 30 minutes a game, right? It's to let those 2 point guards kind of play off each other.
Yeah, see what they got. See if that's actually the direction you want to go. Maybe, especially with the injury, is Zach now expendable? Is that someone you can move? Because you can't go on with a Rubio LaVine backcourt. You just can't.
So, third question: Chris Dunn or Tyus Jones?
I'm still going Tyus Jones. I don't think Chris Dunn is good. I mean, if he was good, he would have done something by now.
Well, and I think in spurts you see that Tyus Jones is a pretty good passer, and the thing that worries me about playing him with Rubio is I think he is a Rubio type player. I don't know that he can shoot that well. I think he's got a decent 3-point shot, which Rubio doesn't have, but I think he's more of a pass first. So I could see him kind of playing Dunn more with Rubio, just because I think Dunn maybe can be a little bit more of a scorer. But I think you got to play the kids here.
Yeah, when it comes to fantasy value, I think I want Tyus Jones over Dunn simply because of his playmaking ability, his ability to get steals. He doesn't really have a giant sample size to look at, but you have seen in games where he does play decent minutes. He is good for a solid, better than average chunk of assists, even in limited minutes. But he often doesn't get to the court because Tibbs hates playing young players. He likes them to develop, which is actually really not that terrible of a thing. That's what he did to Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler is one of top 15 player in the league. So when it comes to fantasy stats, I like Tyus Jones's ability to get counting stats. So I like his assists, I like his threes, I like his steals. I don't know where Dunn seems like more of a one-trick player.
And Tyus Jones is 2 years younger than Chris Dunn. I don't think most people know that.
I did not know that.
But he is literally like 2 years and 2 months younger than Chris Dunn. So if anyone is going to have a higher ceiling with more time to develop, it's Tyus Jones.
If you're in a standard league, are you picking up Tyus Jones right now?
No, because I don't think Tibbs is going to give him the minutes. But if Tibbs did,
let's say he's in the next week, he averages 29 minutes a game.
Yeah, I'm picking him up just for the assists alone.
Why not? Was if Chris Dunn gets 28 minutes a game instead? I don't think I'm picking him up.
No. I mean, you think he's going to kill your percentages. His free throw percentage is 58% this year.
That is embarrassing.
I don't know that he's good. Unfortunately.
I think we know that he's not good. Like he's played all. I mean, they throw him into games every game for limited minutes, and in those limited minutes, he's really only had maybe 2-3 really kind of good games. The game he started against Denver a couple weeks ago, he did have 10 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals. So perhaps if Dunn puts it together, he is a little bit more fantasy friendly than Tyus Jones. I just think moving forward, Tyus Jones is the better fantasy player. He's going to get more playing time, and he's going to get you solid assists every single night. Because Chris Dunn could play, extended minutes and just crap the bed.
I will say Chris Dunn does look like an exciting steals player. He started 6 games this year. In those 6 games, he's played 25.8 minutes, and he's averaging 2.2 steals a game. Yep. He's averaging almost a steal a game in 17 minutes. So he could be exciting for steals if you're in desperate need and he's getting minutes. But other than that, I don't really think I love him.
Yeah, this is a wait and see situation just to where Thibodeau goes with that. And who knows? He's playing Brandon Rush right now the most. Though Tyus Jones is probably second most right now, not very far behind. So we'll just see where that develops. But are you interested in anyone else on this team? A little Shabazz Muhammad action? Bielitsa maybe?
No and no.
Yeah, maybe there. Just you never know.
Hey, if Tibbs gives you 52 minutes a game, you ought to be able to do something, right?
If you're gonna play all the entire game, which I bet it's just I worry about Karl Anthony Towns a little bit playing these 37 minutes a game. I don't want to see another superstar's career ruined by getting injured at a young age.
I'm with you there.
Let's move on to a guy who's going to be coming back from injury here. Let's see, when is this guy coming back from injury?
On Wednesday.
Josh Richardson. So not Friday.
Friday, yes.
Yes. Josh Richardson. Let's see what this cat is up to. He's kind of one of those. He's kind of one of those guys who is in the middle of the rotation in Miami, where we don't love anybody, we don't like anybody. Like they're all hovering around the drop zone. Sometimes they end up being a top 80 player, and then they kind of fall off a little bit. Lately, the latest trend in Miami is the Dion Waiters Island is suddenly playing really well again. What's going on in Miami? What do we make of this? What do we make of Josh Richardson's return to this lineup?
Well, the thing about Josh Richardson is they don't seem to ever be afraid to play him gigantic minutes when he's healthy, which could be good and could be bad, I guess. He's averaging 31 minutes, which at just 23 years old is relatively impressive. But the stats don't pop off the page, and part of it is he's shooting terrible field goal percentage. But if he could up that to last year's like 45%, and even if he could get it up to like 42 or 43, you're talking about a guy who can score, 13 or 14 points a game, give you 3 assists, give you 3 rebounds, give you a steal, half a block, like maybe even 2 3-pointers. Like he gets to be kind of an exciting player.
Yeah, he's kind of interesting, and kind of not. It's kind of what you're saying. Like he doesn't terribly. He's playing enough minutes to be have the chance to be a good fantasy player, and sometimes he kind of knocks it out of the park. But often he's hovering around that drop zone, kind of the end of the bench or first off the waiver wire type of player, even in starters minutes. So even if he's coming off the bench or if he's starting, he's still playing around 31, 32 minutes a game. With Winslow, basically for the rest of the season, he's going to get plenty of opportunity to do stuff. I just don't think anything stands out when you look at his game, when you're seeing him playing 31 minutes a game, only getting a steal, only shooting around 40%, only less than 2 threes, which is really nowadays below average or below something that would be exciting anyway. I'm just not seeing anything here that's making me want to pick him up even speculatively in a standard league.
I think, though, that you touched on something good in the fact that he's probably going to kill Dion Waiters' value. I mean, Waiters had a hot run here of scoring some good points and doing some – I mean, he's gotten 2 steals in each of the last 3 games, and he's gotten 2 blocks in 2 of those 3 games. I think the minutes are going to go down to like 27, 28 at the most, and then I think the value will pretty much just be gone for him.
Yeah, he's really a streaming player at best. If you're in a standard league, Josh Richardson, and then Dion's definitely going to get hurt by it. The Dion hype train is out of control these days. He has been playing great, but I think it's about to come crashing in if somehow you picked up Dion Waiters because you were riding that hot hand, which is a good move. I'd move him pretty quickly before Josh Richardson gets back.
I totally agree with all that.
Did you know the Heat are on a big win streak?
Yeah, 10 games in a row now? They sneak in an 11th one that I missed? 12! Holy Lord. Man.
Maybe 11. I can't count. That's pretty incredible. If they're not careful, they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, and especially when you look at their roster, I mean, just doesn't jump off the page at you as anything too exciting.
I'll give them credit. In this run, they beat Houston, Milwaukee, which I respect Milwaukee a lot, even though they're not that great. The Warriors, but they also
got some good wins.
But they also played Brooklyn twice, Philly, Minnesota, Atlanta, Dallas, and the Chicago Bulls. So I'm not that impressed with this streak.
It's anytime they can get it, though, it's impressive. Anytime you can win that many in a row, it's still impressive.
Fair enough. Speaking of Milwaukee, we have another guy coming back from injury. We talk about this guy a lot, and there's a reason. There's a reason for that. We talk about this guy a lot. Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is back. He has played. No, he's not back. He has not played. I am getting my people mixed up. He's about to come back. He had an incredible season last year. He should be owned, I think, in all leagues, considering he is coming back within the next week or two. I think pretty soon,
He's
right?
supposed to play on Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought
on
he was
Wednesday,
supposed to play in the next game.
Yep. So you got a day. and he is back.
Are you so excited about Chris Middleton that you're willing to trade an asset right now just to be able to have him on your team? Let's play the trade game with Chris Middleton.
An asset. Okay, well, let's hear what asset you got, and I'll think about it.
Let us go to the trade game screen, which is something I completely made up, and it's just a rankings. It's nothing. It's not an actual trade game screen. Let's take a look.
I will say this about Chris Middleton before you start your trade game. This has been a kind of incredible recovery for him, right? I mean, they said at the beginning of the season he was supposed to miss 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
It's only been like 4, and he's back.
It's incredibly impressive. It could be, my guess, he's going to play limited minutes.
Oh, I'm totally with you there, at least for a little while.
I think he'll be playing starters minutes by the beginning of March, though.
I'm with you there.
So he's going to work his way back into it. Last season, on averages, he was 29th. The season before that, he was 48th. So let's go to the player rater. Let's take a look at what we got here. I'm going to say a comparable guy, similar sort of in what he does. Would you trade Klay Thompson for Chris Middleton, for the opportunity to own Chris Middleton for the rest of the season?
I'm going to want Klay Thompson there, I think.
Klay Thompson, definitely you know what you're getting with him. You know that you're going to continue to get what you're getting out of Klay Thompson. But you could be sitting on a guy who hits, pretty great threes and gets a high amount of steals with Chris Middleton. Also gets the occasional block, about 4 assists a game, 3 or 4 rebounds a game. Do you think there's going to be some, even when he starts playing starters minutes, there's going to be some adjusting to playing with a team he really has basically adapted almost fully into a different type of team than they were playing when Chris Middleton was healthy?
That's an interesting thing to kind of chew the fat on. I think when Middleton gets healthy, he's just a really, really good and really, really underrated player. And I think that he's going to get his slice of the pie, so to speak. This guy is just really incredible without being super flashy.
He's an across-the-board type player. He's not going to blow you away. So he's also under 2 3-pointers a game, just like Josh Richardson. But everything else he does, he doesn't hurt you anywhere. He's shooting a solid percent. When he was playing, he was shooting a solid percentage. When he shoots a great free throw percentage, he gets to the line. He doesn't turn the ball over. He gets very good steals. It'll be interesting to see how well he does. Do you think? Let's go based on his ratings from last year: 30th or 29th on averages, 48th the year before that. On averages this year, so whenever he's on Wednesday for the rest of the year, where do you think he ends up per game on averages in that ranking? Somewhere in between, somewhere outside of that?
Well, I'm going to read you a stat line.
Okay.
That I will admit I am stealing from our friends at Basketball Monster. And then I'm going to tell you where it ranks. All I want you to answer me is, does this sound crazy? Okay. He's going to play 24 more games, which I would guess is about what's left, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe that should be a little bit more than that. Maybe
he's gonna average 26 minutes a game.
Seems a little low.
He's gonna ramp up, so maybe that's about right.
Maybe
okay.
Overall, yeah, maybe for the rest of the season.
Okay, 13.5 points a game.
Seems a little low.
1.2 3-pointers a game.
Seems a little low.
2.8 rebounds a game.
Seems a little low.
3.3 assists per game,
Okay.
1.5 steals,
Okay.
0.2 blocks,
That sounds right.
shooting 49 or 45.5%, 45.9% from the field,
Not
and
unreasonable.
90% from the line.
It's really just an okay stat line.
Okay, yeah.
Not a
So
great stat line.
so they claim that ranks him 69th for the rest of the season. I think he can easily do that.
I think he could definitely do that. Unless he's just like forgotten how to play basketball or can't get back into the swing of things, or they end up playing him on the second team and only playing like 15 minutes until mid-March, April, where they're not playing him at all. They're just like getting him ready to be in peak form for the playoffs, which might not be a terrible idea. If that's the case, then yeah, he's going to average closer to that 69th, 70th ranked player in the league.
And this is a guy you could probably have in most leagues. I mean, like, you just pick him up, right? I mean, like,
yeah. How is that any better? Let's go with Josh Richardson. How is that? It's not terribly better than the lines we saw for Josh Richardson.
Well, Josh Richardson is not shooting the field goal percentage. He's not shooting the free throw percentage, and he's not getting the steals.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean when I say that some of these guys who don't do anything flashy in any one category, but just do something, a little bit of something in every category can be worth it. Like, in my opinion, Josh Richardson is worth being streamed in a 10-team league, and maybe even being your worst player on your roster in a 12-team league.
And let's say his percentage went up to 44% shooting. If Josh Richardson was shooting 44% instead of below 40? I think that would probably bump him into standard league relevancy.
Oh yeah, I mean, that would put him, I think, close to a top 100 player.
Yeah, probably. He'd still be scoring. He would score a little bit more. He'd probably get a little bit, a few counting stats here and there. That would definitely help. So I think that makes him ownable in standard leagues. But it's really, if you're looking at,
and he shot that last year.
Yeah. I'm going to throw another name at you for a trade for Chris Middleton.
Let's do this.
You kind of knocked Chris Middleton off his pedestal, which was a little rough for me because I think he's going to be pretty good when he comes back. Would you trade Robert Covington for Chris Middleton?
I would want Middleton. Covington, though, if you built the team right, can be more valuable maybe than Middleton.
Yeah, I think, and you look at how Bob Covington's playing lately, he's finally shooting above 40%. He's getting to the line, knocking down over 2 threes a game. He's a steal, an elite steal guy.
Oh yeah, he's going to get even more steals than Middleton probably.
I think so. So if you look at it, I think actually, I would say Chris Middleton's ceiling is probably very similar to Robert Covington's current ceiling. Maybe a little less steals, but I think easily Chris Middleton can hit over 2 threes a game. I think
Chris Middleton is
get more rebounds.
Is a great 3-point shooter for his career. He's 40%.
Yeah, exactly. And last time I checked, Giannis is way better than he was last year, demanding way more attention, able to find people in the open court, able to find people when he's driving the lane. I think that makes Chris Middleton a lot more open. So I think those threes go up. If you're on the negative side, the stat line you listed for Chris Middleton, if you're saying, well, he's going to struggle, he's going to be hard to get back into playing shape, get back into the speed of the NBA, then I think the stat line you read is pretty close. But I would say if he comes in and starts playing well and he's turning out good games and he's right back in the swing of things, I think he's more like Robert Covington's current play, like what Robert Covington has been doing for the last month or so.
Well, and I'm with you in the sense that I think that stat line was, if anything, a little bit of an undersell.
Yeah, definitely.
And
That's a definite. We're working him back in. He's had a little setback, or we're not really. His shooting isn't coming along, or he's not in the flow just yet.
so my point being, if that is the like a top 70 player, this guy could really make a difference. And like if I'm in a head-to-head league where the playoffs are coming up in like 3 or 4 weeks, I think that's when Middleton, right about the time Middleton's going to be turning it on. So I'm hoping, if I don't own Middleton today, I'm hoping he has a couple bad games here when he's first coming back. Doesn't look that great. I can trade for him for literally probably my worst player on my roster, maybe my second to worst. And I might have a steal here going into the playoffs.
Yeah, that would be ideal. The ideal situation for anybody who does not own Chris Middleton, making a move on him if he struggles when he comes back. Not worth making a move on him now unless you could probably trade someone like Josh Richardson for him right now. I would do that. I would trade a drop zone guy for Chris Middleton straight up today.
Oh, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving away a top even 70 player probably.
Yeah, you're not going to give Melo away.
Yeah, no, I'm holding tight because maybe Middleton does.
Not even Covington. Yeah, not even Covington. I would give away until I see, a little bit of something from Chris Middleton.
A little bit of juice.
Yeah,
so I just want to see him stay healthy. This hamstrings can be really tricky to staying healthy and not re-injuring. So
let's see what other news is going on in the league right now. What any other injuries?
You want to talk 30 seconds about the terrible trade?
30 seconds is a stretch, so let's try. Let's try to do it.
All right. You want to outline it, or do you want me to outline it?
All right. So in one of the most blockbuster early February trades in the history of the league, Miles Plumlee, the great Miles Plumlee, is leaving Milwaukee. Sadly, the Miles Plumlee era is over. He is on Charlotte now. He was traded for not one but two big men, Roy Hibbert, and Spencer Hawes. What a duo, those two. I would watch a TV show with those two like living together. That'd be great. Roy Hibbert, Spencer Hawes, like being too tall, like going to the movies, and people being like, "Can you move? You're too tall." And they're like, "Oh, sorry." And they live together and they bump their head on shit. I would watch that at least a couple times a week. It should be on NBA TV. I'm gonna pitch this to NBA TV and see if they do it.
It was the ultimate Jason Kidd trade, wasn't it? Just throw in 2 more 7-footers on my team. I need them.
Yeah, let's get some length on this team. We don't have enough.
Yeah, no, I don't really think anything's worth it in fantasy. I think Roy Hibbert just can't move. And that's not to be mean. I don't think he can move anymore. He looks washed up.
I think his knees are made of dust, of moon rocks.
And Spencer Hawes, I mean, does he even get any minutes on the Bucks?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think either one of these guys get too many minutes. Well, Hibbert maybe. Let's see. Maybe Hibbert gets a few 12, 15-minute games. I mean, used properly, it could be interesting to see Milwaukee with Hibbert. But extended minutes for Roy Hibbert with those knees, I just don't think it's in the cards.
And if you look at the other side, I think they bought Miles Plumlee to be the backup center to Cody Zeller when Cody Zeller gets healthy. And Cody Zeller's a guy I really like kind of going down the stretch here. I think that he's shown some things that he could be a decent both fantasy asset and real life player. But I mean, this trade just doesn't get my juices flowing.
Yeah, I don't think Plumlee hurts Cody Zeller. I want to give one quick shout out to Roy Hibbert's first game of the season, though. 31 minutes, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 5 blocks. You got my hopes up, Roy. I was like, oh, man, everybody watch out for Roy Hibbert. I think this could be something. Immediately shatters all of his knees. And just hasn't played.
I saw enough Lakers
Wow.
games last year to know Roy Hibbert was not coming back.
I should have known better. But yeah, let's talk about Cody Zeller. You are definitely on the Cody Zeller hype train.
Yeah, I might be the conductor of that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're the only person
I'm-
on the.
I'm-
No, I don't think you're the only person on the train. I think there's some people kind of looking around, seeing what he offers. He's not an exciting player though. So how do you sell Cody Zeller to the people?
I sell him like this. In 27 minutes a game, he's going to shoot you good percentages. Now, he's not going to make any threes, but, I mean, you can't have everything. In
Big
27
men
minutes,
without threes these days, it's a hard sell.
but he's got the potential, if he can get up to 30 minutes, to be like a 1 steal, 1.5 block guy. And that right there is the really interesting part to me.
Once you become a steal block guy, like once you become a 1-1 steal block guy, you have to consider that person in standard leagues. You got to look at the rest of the resume, obviously, but once you're a 1 steal and 1 block guy, you can be considered in almost any standard league. And I don't disagree with your assessment there.
And I mean, like, okay, he's going to get you a not sexy like 12 points if he can get to 30 minutes. He's going to get you only like 7.5 or 8 rebounds, which you kind of want a little bit more. But I think the percentages being good and the no turnovers just kind of makes this guy a really interesting player. Even in standard leagues, I'd pick him up.
There you go. The Cody Zeller hype train is off. He's coming back pretty soon. It looks like.
Oh, I trashed him last week about the bruise, and then I found an article. Actually, they wrote it the next day. Maybe they heard the podcast. I'm not sure. Apparently, his leg was black and blue from his hip to his knee, like just the whole.
You were killing this guy.
His whole entire quad. So I understand why he missed the games, but it's already been like a week, right? A little bit more, maybe even.
I don't know.
I'm looking right now. He last played on the 23rd of January, so like 2 weeks. So I would think he'd be rounding into plant coming back here pretty quick.
Well, I mean, I slightly twisted my ankle snowboarding like 3 weeks ago, and I'm still, occasionally limping around. So,
so you should call up Cody Zeller and have a kumbaya party.
We should ice our legs together. It's not the worst idea.
Oh, I don't even know what to say to that. I was going to take it in a strange direction, but I'm just going to pass on that.
Just meeting Cody Zeller and an ice bath. That's all you need to know. Just think about that.
All right, you want to talk about some more hype train players? This is your hype train now.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
There's a lot of hype train these days, and the second half of the season almost kind of feels like the beginning of the season, where you're kind of like looking for these diamonds in the rough, and so everybody starts getting excited again mostly because they need something to save their season. So let's go ahead and look. I think the loudest hype train, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Where's he at? On the Lakers.
Drum roll.
His name is something.
Ivica Zubac?
I'm looking for how to pronounce it right now.
That's how you say it.
That's how you say it?
It's Ivica
Zubac.
Maybe Zubac. I'm not sure, but I think it's Zubac.
The 80% of the feedback I get for this show is like, you pronounce names like an idiot. It's like, oh yeah, I know. I'm from Central Illinois. What did you expect? I can't pronounce Ivica Zubac.
Here's what we'll start doing. We'll just say number 40 for the Lakers, and then you got to look it up.
No, number 40. It's like when the video games couldn't license the dude's name. We couldn't license Ivica Zubac's name because we didn't know he was a real player. Ivica Zubac has been suddenly playing quite a bit for the LA Lakers. He, in a couple back-to-back games, had some double-doubles. He was hitting the 26-27 minute mark. He was getting the occasional multi-block game. And this probably leads into a question about the Lakers. Let's start with Ivica Zubac. That's a fun name to say now that I can say it. Is Ivica Zubac a standard league player for the rest of the season?
No. The minutes just aren't going to be there. even in like some of his 20-minute games, he has a tendency to get a few too many fouls. And I just think the Lakers want to see what they have in Tarek Black. They're gonna play Larry Nance Jr. over him as a big man. They're gonna play Julius Randle as a 5 sometimes, and so I think that the way Luke Walton has been running the rotations, a lot of times he only likes to give guys like at most 28 minutes, and I think you're gonna see Zubac get like 26 or 28 minutes, then have a game where he gets like 15 or 20, then gets 25, then he gets 20 again. And so I don't think he's going to be worth it in a standard league.
Well, I think you're right about one thing, and that is the minutes in Lakerland. No one in the last couple weeks has been playing more than 30 minutes a game. And to expect someone like the Ivica Zubac to come and play, 30 plus minutes a game, which is where I think his standard league relevance starts. I think he's got to be over 30, just like most players. If you're not over 30 minutes a game, you're usually not relevant.
Well, you just have to be such a per minute stud, right? To not get 30 minutes and get standard league relevance. Yeah,
so it kind of goes in hand in hand. You're good enough to get good numbers, and so you're good enough to play 30 minutes, and then you get more numbers because you get more minutes. Mozgov is done, though. Mozgov is not going to be playing extended minutes, not going to be even attempting to play extended minutes. And the Lakers are about to switch into young guy mode. And so why doesn't Ivica Zubac fall into let's see what we got with some of our young talent? The kid, he's 19 years old.
One reason and one reason only. I think they look at the rotation like Tarek Black, Larry Nance, Julius Randle are all 3 kind of ahead of him in the pecking order. And so they're going to play some of those guys. Like they're going to play lineups where Ingram plays the 4 and either Randle or Larry Nance plays the 5. Tarek Black is pretty much a 5 only in their rotations. And so you're cutting the pie now between 4 guys. And they're all only going to play that so many minutes. And so him to get more than like 25 minutes just because they're cutting that pie up.
Yeah, I don't think I can disagree. I think they're going to give a lot of different looks too, because why not? You're the Lakers. You're not trying to do anything this year. Why not try anything and everything down the stretch to see what your favorite rotations are, see who's playing best with each other. I think they're going to give Brandon Ingram a lot of tick because he is kind of their young stud.
I think there's 2 guys who play more than 30 minutes in going forward for the Lakers, and I think there's only 2.
Only 2, and I would guess Ingram and D'Angelo Russell.
That's it.
You don't think Jordan Clarkson might be in the 30 plus club?
Well, I wrote an article for #basketball about the trade rumors for the Lakers. It's not that long ago, just last week, at the end of last week, and I made an assumption that they should trade Lou Williams and Nick Young in the article, but I don't think they're going to, because their front office has repeatedly said that they knew this was a rebuilding year and that they're not really looking to make moves at this time. So it's going to be really hard for Clarkson to get those big minutes with those 2 both playing in his way, kind of. They don't really want him to be a point guard. They want him to kind of be a shooting guard, and those 2 are both going to take some shooting guard minutes, so it's going to be really difficult for him to get big minutes. I will say, though, that I think his role on the next good Lakers team is Lou Williams' role now. So why not get rid of Lou Williams and just let Clarkson feed in that role?
Yeah, I'd have to agree that Lou Williams is probably the best asset that the Lakers would want to move on this team. Lou Williams could, be someone who changes a team's dynamic, maybe a team that's been struggling with outside shooting in the East, a team that needs more 3-point shooting to spread the floor out for their superstar.
Well, and Cleveland is a team who's been, crying that LeBron has been crying they need a playmaker. They need a playmaker.
That is not the team I am talking about.
Well, here's what I'll say though. The contract for Lou Williams makes it really easy for him to move because he doesn't really make that much money. So the contract plus what Lou Williams is going to bring, I think that there are actually a few teams in the East that would be willing to kind of overpay, so to speak, if they think that's the piece that's going to win them the NBA title.
Yeah, and if I'm the Lakers, why not get an asset? Why not get a pick or both to help, round out the rebuild? I think that's a pretty good move. Everybody go check out that article on #basketball.com. What do you think if you were wagering a guess? So Lou Williams right now, I would consider a standard league player. If Lou Williams got traded though, into a role where he's still different team, but still only going to play about 24 minutes a game, would you still think he's a standard league value player?
I think in our recent experience, Lou Williams is Lou Williams. Lou Williams is going to get his. He's going to get his shots. He's going to sink some threes. He's going to shoot really good free throw percentage. He's going to get you 2.5 to 3.5 assists. He's going to get you 2 rebounds. He's probably going to get you pretty close to a steal. And he's going to score at least 15 points. So I think Lou Williams will be Lou Williams, even if he goes to another team.
Lou Williams is like a poor man's Isaiah Thomas from 2 years ago. He's like a guy who's only getting mid-20s minutes, but is standard league relevant and can score a lot. Isaiah Thomas obviously became one of the best fantasy players and one of the best players in the NBA. Lou Williams is definitely not going to suddenly turn into Isaiah Thomas. Let's say he goes to Philly. It would be fun to see Lou Williams playing 35 minutes in Philly, but yeah, he's not Isaiah Thomas.
Shout out to Isaiah Thomas, though, for the great run he's put on here in the last few weeks.
I cannot believe what Isaiah Thomas is doing.
He is just like really awesome to watch, where he does those like little shimmy shakes and just gets to the rim at like 5 foot, probably like 6 inches tall in actual height. I love watching Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, he's perfected that. He's perfected those little scoops and little pushes into the basket. And it's a little sad that in a league that's probably having some of the craziest career years for many other players, Isaiah Thomas's career year is kind of a little under the radar in the general public when you look at Westbrook's triple-double and James Harden's jumping on people's backs and getting fouls called somehow. And obviously, Curry and Durant. So when you look at those seasons that those people are having.
Who would have thought, though, a guy on the Celtics could have an underrated kind of breakout top player season?
That's who I think a lot of people think the Celtics still aren't good, and they are. They are good.
Oh, they're really good. I mean, and they got so much young talent there. They're a fun team.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write a article about trading Jimmy Butler, because I think you have to write an article about trading Jimmy Butler, because I think it's about time to talk about that. And the Celtics are definitely probably the top choice for the Bulls right now, especially what you've been hearing. They're going to want a lot back, and the Celtics are going to have to pony up. I just don't know why the Celtics wouldn't wait till the offseason.
And if there's one thing the Celtics don't need, isn't it Jimmy Butler? I mean, Jimmy Butler is an amazing player, but like I feel like they have some good kind of depth on that kind of like 2-3 wing that isn't killing them.
I don't know. I think you could replace Avery Bradley with Jimmy Butler and become a lot better.
Oh, no doubt. But I mean, to pay the price you're going to have to pay, are you becoming a lot better in the sense that you're going to have to give up a lot of assets that could really be something in the future?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to I'd have Jimmy Butler replace Jay Crowder as well, but it kind of goes back to, all right, we have a ton of assets. Should we get rid of these assets to bring somebody in? Especially since Isaiah Thomas, depending on who they move. So Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, they can all shoot threes. That opens up the floor for Jimmy Butler, who's already scoring at an insane true shooting rate for a team that has no three-point shooting. So that would help immensely, but is it worth giving up someone like Jaylen Brown and the potential picks, this year's pick especially? Is it worth it? Or why not just ride out those picks, ride out those assets, see which ones are the best, and then build an even younger, more talented team out of those? So it's a real toss-up, but they do have a chance to, I think, contend with a Jimmy Butler player.
That's the only reason I think if you're the Celtics, you make a trade for Jimmy Butler is if you think it wins you the championship.
Yeah, and Al Horford isn't getting any younger, and Isaiah Thomas is 28, so that does fit Jimmy Butler's kind of prime as well. So they would all be in their primes at the same time.
Shout out to Isaiah Thomas. This is his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Isaiah Thomas. A special happy birthday from Watching the Boxes to our favorite underrated player, Isaiah Thomas. The Pizza Man.
Oh, I love it. I love that commercial every time. Every time.
So let's see. What else is going on? There's more hype train to be had.
Chugga. Hype train.
It's coming. It's coming down the track. Who did I have on this hype train? All right, let's see.
Yogi the Bear. Let's talk about him.
Yogi Berra. The Yogi Berra. That guy. By the way, Yogi Ferrell, out of nowhere. Great name. He's only played 5 games, but has played over 35 minutes in those 5 games for Dallas. After moving from Brooklyn, which no one even noticed happened, I think. But here's what he's averaging. 37 minutes. So that's how, I don't know how he keeps that up. I'll start off there. But in 37 minutes in the last 5 games, 17 points, 3 3-pointers, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.8 steals, almost half a block a game, shooting 43%, 93% from free throw, only turned the ball over 1.5 times. In the last 2 weeks, he is ranked the 23rd player on averages in the league. Should you own Hype Train? Should you own the Yogi Ferrell?
I'm going to ask you the tough questions here, Mike. I'm going to ask you the toughest of the tough questions.
I was going to hope I could pawn this off on you, but now you're switching it up on me.
Oh no. I think you're gonna understand my answer once you hear my question.
Okay.
All right. If a man could not stick on the Brooklyn Nets with their, I'm going to say horrendous because I think it is, point guard situation, how can he be good?
Are we sure there is anyone running the Brooklyn Nets right now? No one's been running it for the last 3 years.
I'm running it. Don't tell anyone. I'm just really bad at it.
You're tweeting. you're like tweeting out front office moves. Well, this was a bad front office move, Tyler. This was a horrible one. I don't know why you don't take a chance on this. I don't know why you don't take a chance on Yogi Ferrell, especially if you got nothing to lose. If you got a guy at the end of your bench that you can easily get rid of.
It's a hot hand play. I mean,
it's a hot hand play, which is not wrong. But it's 5 games, which I think is enough sample size. 5 games of not kind of disappearing. 5 games of stats where you go, there's some pretty good stats there, and there's a couple great stats there. Especially the 9 3-pointers, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, he's not going to average 9 3-pointers. I don't even know if he's even going to average 2. But if Dallas is willing to play him over 33 minutes a game, why not? They're looking to move Darren Williams. They're looking to lose games, really. So why not play a guy from Brooklyn who couldn't play on the Nets?
Yeah, and I think the concern, if you do pick this guy up, is you got probably a little over 2 weeks before JJ Barea comes back. He's not scheduled to come back till the 24th, as of this taping. And Darren Williams was listed as doubtful tonight. So usually if you're listed as doubtful, you usually miss another game or two at least. So you got at least 2 or 3 games here where he's going to get the huge minutes still. And like you're saying, if Darren Williams gets healthy, has a couple good games, and they move him, and JJ Barea is still out, I mean, they got to give the minutes to someone.
Yeah, once this team's healthy, then really I don't even know what's going to go on with Seth Curry, with Yogi, with Darren's minutes or JJ's minutes. That's going to be kind of a mess. So you do think they would probably try to move Darren Williams? Why not even, I don't know, why not move JJ Barea other than, he's like a Dallas favorite?
Well, that, and he can't stay healthy long enough. Plus, he's not supposed to come back till after the trade deadline. So, do people trade for injured people? I mean, sometimes, but not often.
Not often. Yeah, JJ really could hurt, I think, both Yogi and Seth's minutes. But I don't know, if you're Dallas, what are you trying to prove right now?
Well, I think the worrisome thing about Yogi is that in 37 and a half minutes, he's gotten you 3 rebounds and 5 assists.
Yeah, his usage could not get any higher.
And so, I mean, you're talking about right now just basically being threes and points and steals. Are the categories you're really getting value from him. And obviously shooting a real good free throw percentage too. But when those minutes drop, those numbers drop. And so I just don't really see this anyway this keeps up, especially considering he's shooting 52% from three-point land, which, I mean, I don't think he's the greatest three-point shooter ever.
Yeah, not sustainable. But a hot hand right now, I would take a flyer on him in any standard league. I would play him until he can't play anymore or doesn't play anymore.
So
just to see what happens. Why not? He's got a great name.
Here's the question. He has a bad game tomorrow.
Like a dud game, plays 31 minutes, and it's like 2 points.
Well, okay, I'm going to say he even still gets minutes. I'm going to say he gets 35 minutes. Okay, he's like 2 for 15 from the field. He doesn't make any three-pointers. He does shoot his free throws good. He makes a couple. He gets you a rebound, 2 assists, and turns the ball over 4 times. Are you keeping him?
I give him one more game to bounce back, and then I drop him.
And that's the way I'm looking at it too. Like he's got one dud game for me, and then after that, if the second dud one comes, he's hitting the bricks.
Yeah, and I think that's how you approach hot hands, especially hot hands that come out of nowhere with a silly name like Yogi. He's got a very short leash before he should return to the waiver wire. But I don't know. I can't argue with how he's playing right now, and I think he should. Any standard league, he should be taking a flyer on at the very least.
I'm with you totally, 100%.
Yeah, worst case scenario, or I guess best case scenario, would be that Dallas just stops caring at all and they just start playing him all the time, and he ends up being kind of an okay player.
Anything is possible, right?
Anything is possible. It's my best KG impression. If you notice, here's a little inside tip. Speaking of tip, that's a great pun when you hear what I said. When KG wins his championship with Boston and he screams anything is possible, I'm fairly sure he goes and kisses the Celtic right on the dick. Go look it up. Go look it up on YouTube. He kissed the Celtic right on the dick. And he shows everyone his nipple, I think. It's a very strange interview. I remember it vividly.
I don't even know what to say to that.
There you go.
All right, so I want to talk about at least one more thing, and then we can talk about whatever you want. Okay?
Certainly.
This is something I'm excited about.
Uh-oh.
All right. I'm not going to tell you the player yet because I don't want you to know, but I think you do know. But I don't want you to know. Okay? This guy has played 3 games this month.
All right.
He's only gotten 25.3 minutes in those 3 games. Okay? Not sounding the greatest, right?
No.
He's only shooting 43.2%.
Okay.
but he's hit every single one of his free throws, okay, at 3.7 attempts a game. Okay, he's averaging 1.3 threes, 3.3 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 0.3 blocks, and 15.7 points in 25.3 minutes. Are you interested at all in this guy?
How many threes a game?
Only 1.3.
I'm intrigued. I wouldn't say I'm standard league interested, but I'm intrigued. There's some potential.
You want to guess?
What's his what's his potential?
Guess who it is?
I don't know. I don't know who this is. He probably told
plays for the Denver Nuggets.
Oh. Is it Jamal Murray?
It is much better than Chris Dunn, Jamal Murray.
Way better than Chris Dunn, Jamal Murray.
Now, here's what I think could happen. Okay. This dude has been playing pretty awesome.
I like Jamal Murray. When you watch him play, you get the feel of an NBA player. You see it.
And that's what I'm thinking, okay? This could be a Devin Booker-esque situation in the sense that the Nuggets are not probably making the playoffs, and they just kind of go, you're playing 30 minutes now, you're playing 32 minutes now, you're playing 35 minutes now. You are one of our core pieces of the future. And this dude could get like 20 points a game.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't go, let's see how well Jamal Murray runs the pick and roll with Jokic. Like Jokic is playing incredible. He's obviously a piece of their future. Why not get Jamal Murray kind of in this rotation?
And that's what I'm thinking. So if you're looking for a player who might just be really kind of sneaky going down the line here and really kind of have a nice little second half, not second half breakout, as you outlined earlier, the season is already more than half over. Jamal Murray might be the guy I'm going for.
I like his potential for a block steal. Like he could maybe do like a half a block, a full steal, and a little over half a block from a guard, which is really pretty rare. I like that potential, but as a guard, after that, not great assists, not great rebounds, and not great threes. That is a little concerning for maybe a Devin Booker-esque type breakout, but he starts shooting the ball a little bit better. It's just getting the line a couple more times a game. Those points start going up. Points are hard to come by. Hits a few more threes, maybe gets a few more assists and rebounds. You're looking at a guy who could, across the board, is pretty solid.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I'm not saying like it's going to be like a gigantic, like huge breakout, but I mean, I think this guy's out there on some waiver wires right now.
Oh, guaranteed, and he's playing right now. Pretty solid minutes. He's had a couple good games where he's got stats across the whole stat line, which is nice to see. But just when you look throughout his season so far, there's only a few stat lines that really stand out. And it does look like he could be turn into kind of like a rebounding type of guard if he kind of switched his game up a little bit, maybe. Just looking at his box scores, but the counting stats definitely need to take a step up.
I'm just thinking if he gets the minutes, he's only going to get better, and so he could fall kind of ass backwards into something here.
I would agree. At worst, he is a into the rotation type of guy. He's still ownable in standard leagues if he's playing 30 minutes a game, I think. And at best, you're right, his ceiling is a big fat question mark. Maybe he is someone who could break into the top 60 by averages if he's playing 34 minutes a game by the end of the year. And that would be great for playoff time.
Just something to watch. Just something to chew the fat on.
Something to check out. The Denver Nuggets. Speaking of the Denver Nuggets, Gallinari, poor Gallinari, out again with an injury, and that's really given Jamal Murray his kind of his really his more of his playing time over the last few games, I think. Um, are you worried at all about, obviously Danilo Gallinari's got an injury history. Are you worried about him staying healthy, Danilo staying healthy for the rest of the season, and two, Danilo hurting Jamal Murray's ceiling for the rest of the year?
No and no. I don't.
Not worried at all.
I don't think that Gallo. I mean, he's already going to miss the next 10 days. I think that Gallo can never stay healthy. I mean, other than in 2012, 2013, he played 71 games.
What a year. Great.
Okay. The rest of the years around that are 43, 59, 53, and already 44 this season.
That's almost a career year for him.
So, I mean, what's he got, like 10 more games left before it's over? I mean, that's what history's telling us, right?
Let's say Gallo comes back and is playing just as well as he was before he was injured. Would you move him for some safety before the playoffs?
100%.
I think I agree.
And I will say that Murray's value might too be helped by Moutier. He missed some games with a back injury. Now he came back and played in the last 3 games, and he may sit out again. I guess the back kind of flared up on him, and so for their next game, he's questionable right now with that same back injury. And that maybe intrigues me more if they are willing to kind of make Jamal Murray a de facto point guard, in the sense that he just kind of like gets to run some of the sets and run some pick and rolls. And I mean, that would really be interesting. That
is when Jamal Murray does become interesting, because if you're going to put the ball in his hands and force him to make some plays, suddenly his stat outlook really changes.
Plus, I mean, Moody is only 20 years old, so it's hard to say, but he's probably been worse this season than he was last year.
I can't disagree. His shot still doesn't exist. I've seen some fairly good games from him, but overall, I wouldn't say he's improved on last year.
And so if I'm them and I'm betting on a future asset, I think that Moutier may be more suited to being a Rajon Rondo current, where he just is kind of a rebound and playmaker off the bench.
Yeah, he could be a great second team point guard. They got a lot of guys in that backcourt: Gary Harris and Will Barton, on top of Jameer Nelson, Jamal Murray, and Emmanuel Moutier. Do you see the Denver Nuggets, a team that probably should have made a trade every single year for the last 5 years? Do you see them making a trade, especially to free up some room for Jamal Murray?
Here's the craziest thing about the Nuggets. Who do you trade for? And I'm not really necessarily looking for a player. I'm just looking for like a position. Maybe a power forward, like a stretch power forward.
Yeah, I would say
Gallinari and Chandler.
Let's finally move on from the Kenneth Faried era. If I'm Denver, right? Let's finally find a kind of a power forward who could actually play center, or maybe give Nurkic a better shot at playing along with Jokic. I don't know. I guess who do you move and how do you move them is probably has been their question for the last 5 years. They could probably benefit from someone like Taj Gibson.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think though, like they're kind of, if you're gonna move someone, I think you move a Gallinari or a Chandler and try to get someone young to kind of build a core up around their good young, Jokic, Murray, Gary Harris. I mean, Will Barton is actually a guy I think they could move, just because there's always teams out there looking for wings. and help on the wings, and they might be able to get something a little bit better back for him than what he's really worth.
Yeah, streaky scoring wing. I've always liked Will Barton just because I don't think he has an off switch. Like that guy's got tons of confidence, even if he's not making any of his shots. But Gary Harris is definitely the better all around player there, and they might as well move forward with Gary Harris. Yeah, I could see Kenneth Faried, Will Barton. Probably, I don't know if Daniela moves. I think they might hold on to him.
I think
they won't get enough back for him because of his injury. Injury prone.
He's a player who's more valuable to your team than he would be to trading, just because you're not going to get back the value that you should.
No, definitely not.
But Wilson Chandler could be an interesting guy to move.
If you woke up tomorrow and saw that one of these backcourt players have been moved, would you pick up Jamal Murray instantly?
Yeah.
I think I would too. I think that would be the direction they're definitely going to go in.
Well, I think they saw what you saw. They've seen some glimpses where they go, this could be a guy.
Yeah. He makes basketball NBA level plays already. And that's that's intriguing.
So I'm interested. I'm interested.
I'm going to do a quick trade game with Daniello. Bounce him off some of the guys we already talked about. Right now, Daniello, let's say he's coming back in one game, not, a couple weeks. Gallinari for Robert Covington.
Give me Covington.
Gallinari for Chris Middleton right now.
Give me Middleton.
Ooh. Wow. Hey, I'm just hating on Daniello. Daniello for Caldwell Pope.
Ooh.
Contavious.
Man, we got to get you up on.
I can't read.
We got to get you up on these names, man.
I just can't even read.
Caldwell Pope.
I went to public school, man.
I think I'm going with Caldwell Pope.
That one I don't think I can agree. That one I don't think I can agree with. I think I'd rather go with Daniello.
This pop gun's got like 8 more games left, man. Like if you want 8 games, enjoy them.
Yeah, but those eight games are going to be significantly better than Caldwell Pope's strange, streaky season that he's had.
Yeah, but at least there's 24 games of it, or however many. I don't even know. I don't got the math.
I guess when you look at the totals, it's not going to look that bad. Actually, when you look at Caldwell Pope's totals now, they don't look that bad.
Caldwell Pope has been Caldwell Pope. I mean, he's done basically what he's done his whole career. The assists are actually a little bit better. I don't hate Caldwell Pope. I don't love him, but I don't hate him.
I find it baffling that he can score 38 points in one game and 2 points in the next. It's just
Isn't that their team though? I mean, like, they don't have a guy who consistently gets it. It's like one time Tobias Harris will have the 25-point game, and then Marcus Morris will have the 25-point game, and then Caldwell Pope will have it, and then Drummond will have it.
Yeah, Detroit doesn't know what they're doing. And I think they put a really nice asset team together, but they didn't put a nice team together. Reggie Jackson doesn't fit there. I think if you put Chris Paul on that team would be like the third, maybe the second best record in the East.
I don't disagree with that, but I think you'd say that about a few teams. Like Chris Paul.
True. Chris Paul is single-handedly one of the best point guards of all time.
Can't believe that they vetoed that Lakers trade and then left him go to the Clippers in the same building.
It's all part of the master plan to make the Clippers good when they knew the Lakers would struggle.
Make the Clippers relevant for the first time ever.
Yeah, why not have 2 good teams in LA instead of 1?
So yeah, Reggie Jackson has kind of been disappointing a little bit this year. I will say that.
Very disappointing. a lot of people were waiting for him to come back from injury, and I think, unlike somewhere like Drew Holiday, who came back from injury and is now playing incredibly well, Reggie Jackson never really put it together.
I'm with you there.
His minutes have also dropped as well. I think old Stan Van, the Stan Van, he who I love Stan Van Gundy. He's a lunatic, I assume.
There's a guy. I got to tell you the
playing?
story real quick. There's a guy who owns a local pizza shop here, and he's a dead ringer for Stan Van Gundy.
Wow, just like
it's like his twin. Yes,
clothes from the '90s,
and he's always just in there turning the pizzas. And every time I see him, I laugh, and I think he probably thinks I'm a nutcase.
Yeah, he's like, "What's wrong with these stupid kids? Not running the pick and roll right."
I hate him.
Get to your spot.
I'm gonna ask him if he's a Detroit basketball fan the next time I go in there. I don't know that he'll get the reference, but I'm hoping.
Probably not, or maybe it is Stan Van Gundy. You never know. You might do that on the side.
It's a long flight every day to work.
As mediocre as Detroit been, Stan Van might start looking into making pizzas here in a few years. I don't think Detroit's gonna keep him around much longer.
I just think it's so hard to be the team without a superstar, and I don't think they have one.
Yeah, it turns out Drummond isn't going to be that guy. I think Drummond's really, really good. I think he's an incredible center. Obviously, he's playing well enough to be owned in all leagues, and even I think in roto leagues where he still kills you in free throws, he's still someone who can bring value. But in regular basketball, he's just not going to be. He's not even going to be Miles Turner. I mean, there's just a new age and a new type of center that's emerged very quickly and has left people like Andre Drummond behind.
Well, and it just makes it so hard for people like Drummond to guard Kristaps Porzingis or Miles Turner, who can stretch the floor the way they can and can move the way they can,
or even Jokic. I mean,
that's what I mean. These big. Go ahead.
No, yeah, suddenly you have to be versatile enough to step out and get back, to stay in front of a guard instead of it's like, well, I guarantee he's going around that guy. You have to be competent enough to guard 1 through 5 as a center now.
Yeah, and these guys who can't do it, it's so difficult for them to be the superstar because they can't play defense anymore.
Yeah, plus the post-up game is dead other than Boogie Cousins dominating everyone.
He's amazing to watch. Just amazing.
Oh, Boogie. Well, we should just do a whole episode about Boogie Cousins at some point.
And please tune in on Wednesday for the Boogie Cousins Hour.
Ooh, that doesn't sound too bad. I'd listen to that show. I think that's it. We hit a lot of the hype train. We hit a lot of the big players moving around. If you out there got suggestions about stuff you'd like to cover, questions about teams, questions about the second half or the rest of the year for your team, find us on Twitter. You can find me at Watch the Boxes, all one word. And Tyler, what's your Twitter account?
You can find me at Watsy4444. So that's my last name with a Y and then 4 number 4s.
Perfect. Yep. And if you like what you're hearing here, leave us a review on whatever app you're listening to this show on right now. Ratings and reviews really help us climb in the rankings and help other people find the show. And tell a friend. Maybe you don't want them taking all this great advice that we're giving, obviously. The hype train is something you want to keep to yourself. But don't. Tell everybody about it and do what you can to rate and review the show. And if you got feedback for us, hit us up on Twitter.
Here's what I'll do. If you tell a friend and you DM me on Twitter, I'll give you some secret information they can't hear.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good move. I like that. I'll if you want to trade with somebody and you tell them about the show, we'll tell you how to screw them over in a trade.
We'll tell you how to swindle them. Swindling 101.
Yeah. We'll also help you rob their house. We won't do that.
I don't know anything about that. So you're on your own there.
never mind. Don't worry about that. So yeah, thanks for joining me, Tyler. It's been a pretty good show, and I think next time we're gonna look into a couple other teams that might be changing their, I guess, their philosophy moving into the second half of the season.
It was a pleasure as always, Mike. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining me, and thanks everybody at home for joining us. Have a good night, everybody.